Today's story begins in a small tribe deep in South Africa, where we meet a man named Andrew, a kind doctor and a loving father. But today his heart is heavy. He has just lost a young patient, and the weight of that failure is crushing him. He doesn't know that his own life is about to be in danger too. Rumors have spread through the tribe. Someone told them that Andrew and his wife Julia are Christians, and now that single truth has turned them into targets. When Andrew learns that the villagers are coming for them, he rushes to warn Julia, who is busy teaching children nearby. The moment she hears this, she leaves everything behind. Together, they grab only what they can carry and run for their lives. Not far from their village lies a small, dusty airstrip where a worn-out plane is parked. The pilot, Broom, is arguing with locals for permission to take off. They refuse at first, saying his plane is unsafe and his documents are invalid. Desperate, Broom offers them a bribe. They finally agree, but only for a price. Just then, Andrew and Julia arrive, breathless and terrified. Broom sees their fear and decides to take advantage of it. He tells them he'll take them only if they pay double and leave all their belongings behind. With danger closing in, Andrew agrees immediately. Survival is all that matters now. Soon the small plane lifts off the ground. There are 8 people on board: Andrew, Julia, and 6 others, hoping to escape death. For a moment, they all believe they are safe. Andrew looks out of the window, thinking of home, of his parents, of peace, but fate has other plans. Midway through the journey, dark clouds gather. Strong winds toss the small plane around like a toy. Broom tries to stay calm, assuring everyone that this kind of turbulence is normal. But within minutes, one of the engines fails, and the other begins to sputter. Then comes the worst news. A fuel pipe has burst. The plane starts losing height rapidly. Panic spreads. Before anyone can react, the aircraft crashes violently into the middle of a barren desert, breaking apart into flaming pieces. When the dust settles, the survivors realize the horror of their situation. They are surrounded by endless sand, the wreckage burning behind them, and the cries of wild animals echoing in the distance. Max, one of the passengers, screams for his wife. She didn't survive. Julia is alive, but her leg is broken. The pilot, bruised but conscious, steps out and surveys the wreck. There's no help in sight. The nearest rescue plane won't pass for another 2 weeks. Until then, they'll have to fight the desert, hunger, thirst, and fear itself. Meanwhile, a man named Thong angrily confronts Broom, shouting, "This is all your fault. You knew your plane was falling apart, yet you still flew it." Broom wipes the sweat from his face and replies firmly, "Now is not the time to fight. We're trapped in the middle of the South African wilderness, and there are lions nearby. If we don't move before sunset, we'll become their dinner." Thong, breathing heavily, says, "I saw on the map. There's a tribe somewhere close by. Maybe they can help us." Everyone agrees, desperate for any chance of survival. But Andrew refuses to leave. He kneels beside Julia, whose leg is badly broken, and says softly, "I can't leave her alone. Go find help and come back for us." The group hesitates, but there's no time to argue. They pack what little they can carry and start walking. Broom checks his pockets and quietly loads his gun. Thong notices this, saying, "You should give it to Julia. She's injured and defenseless." Broom shakes his head coldly. "No, I need this more than anyone. I'm not risking my life for others." The small group begins their long trek through the blazing desert, the wreckage now a distant memory behind them. Hours pass. Max, still grieving the loss of his wife, says to Broom, "You're going the wrong way. We should have turned east." Broom doesn't even look back. "I fly this route every week. I know where I'm going," he insists. But the truth is, he doesn't. He's just leading them blindly, hoping luck will save them. They keep walking until their legs tremble with exhaustion. The land stretches endlessly, nothing but hot sand and wind. Trot, the youngest among them, collapses from fatigue. His lips are cracked, his voice almost gone. Broom bends down, splashes a few drops of water into his mouth, and growls, "Get up! We're almost there." With sheer willpower, Trot rises again, dragging his feet forward. After what feels like eternity, the 4 of them reach a high rocky cliff. Broom points ahead. "There! It's got to be over that ridge. The tribe must be right beyond it." They climb, hearts pounding, bodies weak. But when they finally reach the top, what they see breaks them completely. There's no village, no tribe, just endless golden desert stretching beyond the horizon. A heavy silence fills the air. Then Max snaps. He grabs Broom by the collar and screams, "You lied to us! I told you we were going the wrong way." He punches him again and again until Thong rushes forward, pulling him back. Broom stumbles to the ground, his lip bleeding. Max, shaking with rage, pulls out the gun and points it straight at him. "I swear I could shoot you right now." Thong steps between them, raising his hands. "Stop it. If we fight now, none of us will make it till morning. Let's go back to the plane." We'll rest tonight and try another direction tomorrow. Meanwhile, Andrew sits beside Julia. His eyes scan the darkness. Something feels wrong. He hears faint growls nearby. A pack of lions, drawn by the smell of blood, lurks in the shadows. Julia, pale and weak, looks at him and whispers softly, "Andrew, I love you. When we get home, let's start fresh. Let's have a baby and build a happy life together." Andrew forces a gentle smile, though fear fills his heart. "We will," he says quietly. "Just stay with me." Far away, Max grows restless and angry. "We can't just sit here and wait to die," he snaps. "I'm leaving tonight." Thong warns him. "It's too dangerous, Max. You won't make it in the dark." But Max refuses to listen. Grabbing his gun, he storms off alone into the night, ready to face whatever comes, even death itself. Now only Broom, Thong, and Trot remain together. They start heading back toward the wreckage, but their bodies are exhausted. The desert heat has drained all their strength. After a few steps, they collapse to the ground, gasping for air. Broom points ahead with trembling hands. "Come on, just a little more. The plane's close." Somehow, they gather enough strength to stand and keep moving. When they finally reach the site, they stop dead in their tracks. There's blood everywhere, dark stains in the sand, deep claw marks, and torn fabric scattered across the ground. Andrew and Julia are gone. Broom kneels down, looking around in shock. "What happened here?" he mutters. Suddenly, he's struck hard from behind. He falls, and when he looks up, it's Andrew, his face wild with rage and grief. Andrew shouts, "My wife is dead because of you!" The lions dragged her away. "If you'd given me the gun, I could have saved her." He pins Broom down, trembling with fury. Just then, Thong fires a flare into the sky, breaking the fight apart with its blinding red light. Everyone freezes in silence. Broom approaches Thong and says grimly, "I can lock the cockpit from inside, but it can only fit 3 people. One of us will have to stay outside tonight." Thong looks troubled. "We can't leave anyone alone out there." Broom shrugs coldly. "We don't have a choice." When Andrew hears this, he turns to Broom bitterly. "You're trying to save yourself again. You caused this crash because you were smuggling animal horns. That's why the plane was overloaded and broke apart." Broom shakes his head angrily. "That's a lie. The engine failed. Nothing more." Thong steps in, trying to calm them. "Enough. Let's decide fairly." With a coin toss, they flip the coin. It lands on Trot. His face goes pale. Fear fills his eyes. Andrew removes his locket and places it gently in Trot's hand. "Keep this with you. Pray to God. He'll watch over you tonight." The 3 men then climb into the cockpit and seal the door from inside. Before leaving, Broom tells Trot, "Don't let the fire die out. Keep feeding it. As long as it burns, the lions won't come close." Trot nods shakily and sits near the flames, staring into the dark. The wind howls softly, carrying distant growls across the night. Hours later, the silence is broken by sudden gunfire. Far away in the desert, it's Max. Lost, terrified, and surrounded, he starts shooting wildly into the shadows. The sound only enrages the lions. They pounce from every side. His screams echo briefly, then fade into the night. The fire near the wreck flickers weakly, and once again, the desert falls silent. After some time, Andrew steps outside to relieve himself, unaware that a cobra has silently slithered into the cockpit behind him. When he returns, he wakes Trot to check the fire, then lies down and quickly drifts to sleep. But Trot, exhausted and terrified, makes a fatal mistake. The fire goes out. Moments later, the silence of the night shatters with his screams. The lions attack all at once, tearing through the darkness. Inside the cockpit, Andrew, Broom, and Thong freeze in fear, unable to move. In panic, Thong accidentally opens the cockpit door, and they see the horrifying sight: lions devouring Trot alive. One of the beasts turns toward them, but they manage to slam the door shut just in time. Then another danger appears: the cobra, still inside. It bites Thong on the leg before anyone can react. Acting fast, Broom cuts and ties Thong's leg to slow the poison, kills the snake, and somehow saves his life. After a long, terrifying night, the first rays of sunlight finally appear. In the morning, Andrew steps outside. The wreckage is stained with blood, the smell of death everywhere. He slumps against a tree, broken and silent. Broom joins him, saying, "We need to move before they come back." But Andrew doesn't respond. He's lost everything. Julia is gone, and with her, his will to live. Still, Broom and the limping Thong start walking away from the crash site. Just as hope seems lost, they spot a car approaching in the distance. Excited, Broom shouts, "We're saved!" But as it gets closer, their relief turns to dread. It's the same tribal group that had been hunting Andrew. The tribesmen capture them immediately, shouting in rage. Thong tries to reason with them in their language, but they accuse Andrew of stealing and trespassing. When they notice the smuggled lion corpse, their anger explodes. One man raises his gun at Andrew, but Broom steps in, taking the blame for the smuggling. Thong pleads, explaining the crash, but before he can finish, one of the tribesmen shoots him dead. Now only Andrew and Broom remain, held at gunpoint as one tribesman leaves to fetch reinforcements. The hours drag on under the burning sun. The captors taunt them with water but never share it. As time passes, both tribesmen doze off. Broom seizes the moment, creeping toward them, but one wakes suddenly and fires. The gun misfires, and in the chaos, Andrew grabs a weapon and kills the other man. The moment the shot echoes, Andrew breaks down, crying. "I'm a doctor," he says. "I save lives, not take them." Broom steadies him, saying, "You did what you had to. It was survival." They both know they can't stay. More tribesmen will come soon. As they move on, Andrew's injury worsens. He's been shot, weak, and bleeding. After a short distance, he collapses. Broom lifts him up, urging him to keep going. "Just a little more," he says. "There's a cliff ahead. You'll be safe there from the lions. I'll go get help." Andrew nods faintly, barely conscious as Broom carries him toward the rising cliff, their last fragile hope for survival. Hearing Broom's words, Andrew gathers his last bit of courage and starts moving toward the cliff. Every step feels heavier than the last. His vision blurs, his body trembles, but he keeps going. When he finally reaches the base, he tries to climb, but his strength gives out. Behind him, Broom spots a group of lions approaching fast. Panic sets in. He rushes forward, trying to push Andrew up the cliff, but his hand slips. Andrew falls hard to the ground. The lions are only meters away now. Desperate, Broom lifts him again, using every ounce of strength left, and somehow drags him up to the top. From there, they see a faint fire glowing in the distance, a sign that a village might be nearby. Hope flickers for the first time in days, but it's not over. The lions begin climbing the rocks, drawn by the smell of blood. The two hide behind the boulders, barely breathing, as the beasts sniff around below. Andrew's body is weak, and a strange poison smell rises from one of his wounds. Broom knows he won't last long without help. He looks at Andrew, guilt flooding his eyes. "You lost your wife because of me," he says quietly. "And that child you couldn't save, it was my fault too. I delayed the medical supplies because I was smuggling. I caused all of this. I don't deserve to live." Andrew shakes his head weakly, but Broom continues. "The village is just ahead. I'll distract them. You run when you can." Before Andrew can stop him, Broom charges toward the lions, shouting and waving his arms. His voice echoes across the desert. The lions turn toward him, growling, then leap. Andrew closes his eyes as the horrifying sound of Broom's screams fills the air. When the noise fades, Andrew opens his eyes, tears streaming down his face. He doesn't look back. He can't. He tries to crawl toward the village, dragging his wounded leg, but soon collapses. The pain is unbearable. He knows his end is near. As he sees some wolves are approaching, he grips a stick tightly, ready to defend himself. Suddenly, a flash of lightning strikes nearby, startling everyone. The sky opens and rain pours down, a rare miracle in the desert. The wolves run for shelter as Andrew lies motionless in the mud. He looks up at the sky, smiling faintly. In his fading vision, he sees Julia, standing before him in a white dress, whispering softly, "Just a little longer, Andrew, just a little longer." Then he closes his eyes and collapses. When the rain stops, villagers come out to collect water. They find Andrew lying near the rocks, barely alive. They lift him carefully and carry him to the village, a survivor of the impossible. And that's where this incredible survival story ends. Friends, if you like this story, please drop a comment and hit like. Your support keeps us going. We'll be back soon with another thrilling survival tale. Until then, stay safe and peace out.